Buonasera. What time is it there?
Joe, how are you, buddy? Well, let me fix it. It's about 9 p.m. on the East Coast in the United States. And what time is it?
It is 1 p.m. on Tuesday here in Australia.
You're always way far ahead of us over there. You know that.
Yeah, and look outside. It is 37 degrees Celsius outside, not a cloud in the sky. So I know you guys deal with Fahrenheit.
About 70.
So I don't know how much it is in Fahrenheit, but in Australia, it's hot. It's very hot right now.
It might be closer to 80.
And I'm seeing. I got to put my glasses on, and I got to warn you, Vinny. I get abused all the time because of all the different glasses that I wear. So today I've tried to wear as plain glasses as possible. So I am coming to New York City. I saw someone say coming to Florida. I am coming to Florida. I'm doing Naples in Florida. I'm coming to the city. I'm coming to Hamilton, Ontario. So I'm doing all of North America. I'm coming to Toronto. I'm going everywhere. Thank you. Someone said nice glasses. Thank you.
I'm Maria Rose. Hi, everybody. I'm sorry, I'm catching up on some of the comments here. Siciliano, Agrigento, Calabrese.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Hello. And I'm actually doing shows in Italy, believe it or not, this year.
Nice.
How about Toronto? There's 8 shows on sale in Toronto right now. 8 shows right now on sale in Toronto. And it's just amazing how I suppose because maybe you have followers that I don't, I suppose. You know what I mean? So they're going, oh, Joe, when you come to Toronto? But if you followed my page, they would see that there's 8 shows on sale in Toronto. You know, I'm coming to New York. I'm coming back to Queens. So last year we did a very, very big tour. It was 157 dates all over the world. And it was great. And so this year's big again. It's all through Australia. And then I go to Italy and do shows. I'm having my 50th birthday in Mykonos. So if you got any Greek followers, is there many Greeks in Philadelphia? Yeah, I think there is, isn't there?
There is, yeah. There's a nice Greek population. Sure.
Yeah.
Nice Greek population there, yeah.
Yeah. So Greeks are welcome to the show as well. It's not just for Italians. They do the same thing. Italianesi, Indiani, tutti.
Well, you know, we're part of Magna Grecia, right?
Yeah. It's giusto.
So you are getting a lot of my people that may not be familiar with schedule. Again, please make sure you should be following Joe, but make sure you're looking at his page and you're seeing all his tour dates. This way we can collaborate. And
I should clarify as well, because so if there are people who are watching who don't know what I do, basically I do Italian comedy, and I've been doing Italian comedy, stand-up comedy for about 30 years. But what happens is, and not that I've got anything wrong with this guy, because he's fantastic, you know, people like Sebastian Maniscalco come along who get really big really quickly because of social media, when there was no social media when I started. They've never heard of me. Then they hear me and they think that I've copied him. They've heard of me, but they've heard of him first. No, I didn't copy him. He didn't copy me. He's a 50-year-old Sicilian from Chicago with strict Italian parents. I'm a 50-year-old Calabrese from Australia with strict Calabrese parents. So of course we're going to have similar topics. Of course we're going to talk about the malocchio. And of course we're going to talk about our fathers that are strict. You know, it's just the way it is. But I've been doing this for a very, very long time. That's what I do for any of your followers who...
Well, plus you're much funnier. But anyway...
Now, look, I saw Sebastian when he came here. He was fantastic. He's a great act. His delivery is fantastic.
It's exaggerated. The exaggerated faces, the motions, But I'm talking real comedy over here, Paisan. We got to talk the real substance, which I really enjoy your comedy. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on. Yeah. I can't thank you enough, Joe, for taking the time out.
Well, I'm really excited. We've had a lot of fans from Philly always saying, you know, am I allowed to say Philly? Do people from Philadelphia get upset when people who are not from Philadelphia say Philly?
No.
How does that work?
They just don't want anybody else taking credit for the cheesesteak. That's all they care about. And Rocky cheesesteaks and gravy. That's all they care about.
So who takes credit for the cheese steaks? Is there other parts of America that says no, we invented it first?
Well, no, yeah, we have to make sure we maintain our supremacy as the birthplace of the cheesesteak.
Yeah, right.
Which was invented by Italians, by the way. All right.
Fair enough.
Now, Joe,
sorry, Bill.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Tell the viewers again who may the 2 or 3 who may not know. But how did you get started?
So I was actually a food scientist, and I was studying to be a scientist at university. And in between experiments, I had a lot of time, and I had this ability to be able to tell jokes. So I thought, let me get up and try and tell jokes. So now we're talking 1996, okay? So I went to the Comedy Store, which was a franchise that came out of Los Angeles, actually. So a guy from Australia brought the franchise out to Australia. I started, hi from Montreal. I'll be in Montreal as well. I'm coming to Montreal. I started doing stand-up in English. And then I got asked to do a show for Italians in Italian. And I started using some gags that I couldn't do at the Comedy Store. You know, how my nonna, she would send me to go and buy dupatati, to get dupatati from the garage, you know, and I'd come back with dupatati. And she said, solo due portate, solo dupatati. I said, no, tu volevi dupatati, te portare dupatati. And of course, you know, in Italian, 2 means 8 or 9. You know, and then the next week, you know, due vuol dire 8 or 9. I'm not sure how many of you listeners could understand. Anyway, it's probably funny for them to hear an Aussie che parla Calabrese. There's a million Italians here in Australia, by the way. Anyway, so I started doing this show, and I started doing these things about my nonno, all these jokes about my nonna, you know, really very hardcore, specific Italian gags where you had to be Calabrese, Siciliano, Napoletano. You had to be the son or daughter of an immigrant to get it. It was that full on. And then I started, I put out an album in 1999, I recorded it. It went out in 2000. 2001, because of Napster, Nonno's car accident, so for those of you who've been following me for a long time, Nonno's car accident was like my Love, Love Me Do from the Beatles, or I Want to Hold Your Hand. It was like a hit all over the world. So all of a sudden, I started getting calls from all over America, Canada, England, to do this show. And it spread like that. And basically, that's what I've been doing. And then over the years, I've started making it more in English. So it's for more mainstream, right? So in Australia, I can't do my Italian show anymore because it's a lot of Greeks that come, Lebanese, Maltese, Indians, Chinese. In America and Canada, I can still get away with doing, you know, my Italian gags. You know?
Yeah, it's interesting how things change and demographics or just the interest in different sorts of comedy change. Now, my own personal question for you would be too. Now, I know you're Calabrese. What province? And I'll tell you where my parents are from. Reggio. They're right from a little town outside of Reggio Calabria. But where's your family originally from in Calabria?
Yeah, they're from Reggio Calabria too. So my mum and dad. What Reggio Calabria are you from?
There's the commune of Motta San Giovanni.
Right. Okay. So is that near where you get the draghetto to go to Sicily?
Now that's near Sheila. That's a little bit. No, I would say it's about 15 minutes from the airport in Reggio. By the way, the airport is named after my great uncle Tito Minetti Airport.
Yeah, right. No, for years, no idea because I'd always go to Lamezia. Yeah. But there's actually an airport in Reggio itself, right? So we're near Gioia Tauro.
No, right? I know where it's at. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where. So, and I'm actually doing 2 shows in Calabria, in Reggio Calabria, in August, on either side of. So I'm in Roccella Ionica and Palmi.
That's great. So I mean, that's so obviously you had to keep the day job, you had to pay the bills, and then at a certain point, did you realize, okay, you know what, I can quit, or did you ever quit the day? I'm assuming you quit the day job, right?
What happened was, so I was working until about 1999, and then in 2000, my career took off. And in 2001, I was touring the world. I was 27 years old, and I was doing, so, you know, you see comedians like Russell Peters or, you know, even Sebastian doing these massive shows. That's what I used to do, but in 2000, 2001. But there was no social media back then, right? So it all everybody who learnt about me, they used to brush Avati CDs. They'd burn all the discs and send them around. Now, you know, if you've got 40,000 followers, you press click and 40,000 followers you're sharing it immediately. So if you wanted to share my stand-up back then, you had to burn a CD, burn 10 copies, hand out 10 copies. Then those people would have to then burn the copies, hand out to their friends. That's the way it spread back then. And so I was selling out 2,000-3,000 seat arenas, I suppose if you want to call them, all over Canada, into New York, Chicago, Boston. And this is 2003, 2004. So I've been doing this a long time, mate.
Were you married? Were you married at that point?
No, I got married 3 years ago. Okay. No, I was spending 9 years on the road.
You had some room to move.
Yeah, I had a lot of room to move.
It's tough though. Yeah, if you're married with children, a lot of people.
Yeah, so
you know, a lot of my viewers are like, "How do you do it?" You know.
Yeah, so my wife and this is a big business now. And so my wife and my son, they come. So I'll be gone. Last year I was gone 4.5 months overseas. This year, 5 months, because it's another big tour. And they come for part of it. They can't come for all of it because my son's starting preschool. You know, so and it's great, man. And you know what I love about what I do? I go and visit every big and small town where there are Italians. You know, it's not a rock concert. I don't have to bring 5, members of a band and tour managers and, all the extra crew. It's just me and tour manager. We come along. So that means that we can do shows in big towns and little towns, tiny little towns as well. Where there's
beautiful. I want to take a quick moment just to make sure that everybody, please, if you're watching this, you're any followers that either are friends of mine or just pop on the page, make sure you're following Joe Avati, please. Make sure you follow his page, like little stuff. Please also follow me on YouTube, Vinny Presents, subscribe. Now, talking about the Comedy Store, you mentioned the Comedy Store. I did when I lived in LA for a brief period of time, I did a little stand-up there. Nothing crazy, open mic nights. I had some friends over there.
Yeah.
Did you ever play there in LA?
I've been there. I've never played it, but I have done the San Jose Improv. So I've done 2 shows in Los Angeles, but they're to my audience, to my fans. But not at the Comedy Store. But I have done the San Jose Improv. This year, I'm actually doing a show in New York, in Manhattan, which I've never done before, at a Comedy Store there, in a comedy club in Manhattan. And also, when I go to Florida, we're doing Off the Hook Comedy Club, right? So I'll do massive theaters. I'll do 3,000-4,000 seat arenas, but I'll also do a 200-seater comedy club because I love what I do and I love flexing that muscle, because doing a show to 200 people is very different to doing a show to 2,000 or 5,000 people. 2,000 or 5,000 people is actually easy. 200 is a lot harder. So, a lot of, Seinfeld and Bill Burr and all these guys, they still go out and they flex that muscle in the comedy clubs. And that's what I like to do. Sometimes you go out and you try out new material. Sometimes in a club when you're doing a show to 200 people, it's almost like no one's there. And so you can just open up. You open up and you just do things that you don't normally do. And I love that. I love to be able to do that.
Another fellow Calabrese, my friend, he's a producer and a writer out in New York, Frank Mancuso, fellow Calabrese, asks, what about Queens? Are you going to Queens, New York?
Yeah, so last year I did 2 shows, and this year we're about to go on sale. I think next week we're going on sale in Queens Theatre. And I think that is the 16th of November this year. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So, I mean, Joe, you're rocking and rolling, man. I love it. I love your comedy. It hits home for me and a lot of people. And I think that the ability to just continue making people laugh is an art. It's a science. And it looks easy, but it's very difficult. I know because I know a lot of comedians. What keeps you going every day, man? What keeps you going through the hard times?
There are people that I've got friends of mine who are a lot funnier than me, but it's about, okay, next Saturday night at 8 o'clock, switch on and be funny for 2 hours straight. Can you do that? Then you're funny. That's the difference, that there's a lot of people who are really funny. And if you think you're funny, give it a go, get up there and have a go. There's a lot of great comedians now coming out online, which is fantastic. People asking me if I'm coming to Connecticut. Yes, I am coming to Connecticut. We're just finalizing all those details now. just get online and try it. But trying it online, just because you're funny online for 3 or 4 minutes in an edited video, doesn't mean you can just get up and do stand-up. That's the rawest form of comedy,
Absolutely. And I mean, what advice would you give anybody who's just starting out or that's interested in doing comedy, but maybe a little scared? How would you begin if you had to start over today?
Yeah, look, you know what? Just if you get up there and you don't get laughs, that's okay. None of us got up. No stand-up comedian started with a full set and and just started killing from day one. No, none of us. We all died in the ass. We've all had, so you just got, okay, so if you get up for 5 minutes and you got one laugh, okay, so you kind of got what it takes. Now you just need to fill up 90 minutes of that one laugh, right? So it means you've got what it takes, just keep on changing it. Okay, it doesn't work like this. Change a word, change the tone, make it faster, make it slower, put it behind it. You know what I used to do is I used to start with an old joke, which I used to get a laugh all the time at parties. And I used to finish with an old joke, which I always knew would get laughs. But in between, I would put my own material. So that's a little secret that's right. Or, you do old joke, one of your jokes, another old joke, one of your jokes, another old joke, another one of your jokes, and just do it like that. So that way, if they're not laughing, they'll laugh at the next one. Because if they're not laughing, then they're not laughing, and then they're not laughing, even if the fourth joke is funny, they're probably not going to laugh. That's a little bit of an insight as well.
Yeah, that's and then that's unfortunately how you bomb. But there's what, even I know people that bombed and they just kept going, and now they can't help but sell out because you learn from those experiences.
Well, you have to. I've been doing this 30 years almost, 29 years this year. I'm still learning things that I go, wow, I didn't think of it like that. You're always learning in this business, and that's what's great.
And things
now,
change.
I want to know
and look at it
more about the Italian community in Philadelphia, because I'm coming there for the first time, so it's really exciting.
Well, we can't wait to welcome you with open arms. I'll be happy to make sure I spread the word to support you and be there for you. Philly's a great place. I mean, South Jersey, Philly, New York, Delaware. We kind of are in the we're within a few hours of everything really major in that whole tri-state area. Yeah. So,
but more Sicilians, more Calabrese, more Napoletani. I've had a lot of people from Calabria say that they live in Philadelphia.
Yeah, there's definitely. I would say there's a lot more in Philly. A lot more Calabrese, Sicilian, Napoletan. Those three. Yeah, there's a lot of Brucese, but I would say compared to New York, let's say, per percentage wise, definitely more Calabrese here. So you'll definitely be welcome.
Oh, I can't wait.
And by the way, speaking of great Calabrese from New York, I'm also friendly with our buddy Franco Falconeri. I loved your podcast you did with the Italian Sicilians Do It Better. I remember to see that shit.
Yeah, when I went to New York, I was there last year doing shows, and I went on all the podcasts. It's really good how everyone supports each other. And you know what? And it's kudos to to guys like you and to these guys who keep the Italian culture alive. But you know who gets upset? The Italians in Italy. They get upset. They get upset. One guy wanted to hang me.
Oh my God.
On a cross, the Vatican, if he ever saw me. All I said was, your post office was shit, buddy. That's all I said. It wasn't the end of the world. And it's true. If you go to Italy, try and post something back to America or to Australia. You can't. It takes 3 post a box.
Oh,
And
of course, you're like $4 to send a magnet.
They don't like it. They don't like what, of course, we call ourselves Italian. They call us Americani.
Yeah.
Right?
I got a funny story for you, Joe.
Yeah.
My dad moved back to Calabria my parents. They moved back in 2000. So they moved back to Calabria in Ubaise. And now my dad was born there. But they call Saverio Umeragan.
Saverio da America.
Saverio Umeragan, but he was born there, but they used to call him Umeragan.
Yeah. But back in the day, like if you made it in America, like, man, questo caffè c'è un big shot in America. Hollywood questo. Yeah,
we pay a lot of taxes and bills, and we don't have a quality of life. But besides that,
but all my Canada, I've been going to Canada for 20 something years now. even when they go to back home, they go, "Tusi Americani, Americani," and they're like, "No, we Americani city." You know, it was a big deal to make it in America when you in Italy back in those days. You know.
Yeah. Now I mean, it's. I haven't been in Italy since 2012, unfortunately, but even then, it was people were starting to really like be happy there. It wasn't like, oh, I wish it was in America. You don't hear that. A lot of people are actually saying like America, like we're in America. Like this is they're living well, and it's about quality of life. But it doesn't matter where you are. There is no perfect place. Where you're happy, that's the perfect place. Could be anywhere.
Yeah, I did a show in Belgium last year and it was a room full of Italians from Belgium. It was fantastic. Wow. Yeah, it's fantastic. They really got it because a lot of the Italians went there for the mining in a place called Maasmechelen. I hope if you're watching from Belgium that I pronounced it correct. Someone's asking, when am I coming to Cleveland? You know what?
Cleveland Joe.
Sorry?
That's Cleveland Joe. He's my fellow Sicilian buddy over there. Cleveland Joe.
Yeah, I will come. If there are enough fans, I will come. Let us know and we make it happen. That's the way what we do. That's how it happened. In Belgium, we had 2 people ask. The next thing you know, that you've got a big fan base here. We put the show on sale, bang, sold out. So, if there's fans in Cleveland, I will be there. That's why I'm doing Florida for the first time. I'm doing Philadelphia for the first time. Of course, I'm doing New York and New Jersey, which I've done before. I've done Boston before. And then, of course, all over Canada. And England as well. There's a lot of Italians in England, in Scotland, in Ireland as well, all over the United Kingdom. There's a lot of Italians, a lot of Sicilians in England as well.
Now, this may be a little bit of a tough question, but let's say you are a fan, they love your comedy. Like, what's the best way? Like, should they get in touch with comedy clubs and like, hey, when are you gonna have Joe? Like, how can someone really request you to be somewhere and at the same time be advantageous for you to be there?
Yeah. Okay. So basically, normally what happens is they contact us they'll send a message on Messenger or just Instagram direct message. They'll slip into my, what do they call it? You slipped into my DMs. So they send us a message. You know what? I'll then put them in contact with my manager, Sam, and then Sam contacts them. And then away they go. And then they start the ball rolling. We've done that many, many times. People think, oh, I didn't want to contact you. Just send us a message. If you think there's fans, if you think there's a show we can do 250, 300 people, I will come. That's all you need. It's not, you don't need thousands and thousands of people. I like what I do. I enjoy what I do, and I love going around meeting new people and also doing shows in places I've never been to before.
Now, we're going to wrap it up soon because we want to make sure we keep this strong and to the point. But what are some of your challenges now that you face as being a comedian?
The biggest one is political correctness. There are things you just can't say. But the funny thing is, I've actually gone the other way. Right? I've gone the other way. Look, my shows. The other thing that you need to know about my shows, if you've never been to my shows, you don't know what I do. My shows are completely clean. Okay, so a lot of kids come to my show. The nonni come to my show. You won't hear a swear word. I don't talk about anything smutty or religious or drugs or anything like that. It's going to offend anyone. But I don't hold back because I think that political correctness in comedy is like having an occupational health and safety officer at an MMA fight. Right? And we need to say it the way it is. Comedians, we're the last bastions of honesty and truth. It's our job to say the things that everyone thinks, but no one has the guts to say. And I get in trouble because I'm sick and tired of all this woke bullshit, all these minority groups complaining. The amount of people that protest wasting resources from the police because they're minorities. Let's not forget one thing, and I'm sure all your followers are my followers. We are the children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren of immigrants who are also a minority. Did you ever see them complaining? No. They just got on with it, and they made the countries that we live in great. I mean, we didn't care that we weren't included, were we? Have you ever seen an Italian on the Flintstones? Bull? No. Have you seen a Chinese guy on the Jetsons?
Oh, I think you froze on us, Joe.
Yeah, am I there? Am I back?
There you go. The PC police are coming after you. See what happened?
Yeah, you know what? That's probably what happened. Can you hear me?
How dare you? Well, Joe, I'll tell you what, though. You're right about that. That comedy is the last bastion. Definitely, comedy is the last bastion of honesty. And I don't like to see, like, Dave Chappelle and a lot of these other comedians that I was starting to watch, that I started realizing they're starting to handcuff the comedians, and they kind of went after Chappelle and a couple other comedians. I didn't like that. I thought that was really bad. But it's going to turn around.
I can't see myself on the screen. Can you see me?
I can see you.
Oh, yeah, great. Yeah. Yeah, look, you know what happens is this. If you're a young comedian starting out, you can't do certain things and you will get cancelled because they won't give you work, right? But if you've got an audience already, like I have, like Dave Chappelle has, like Bill Burr has, we know what our audience wants to hear, right? Because I go on a rant in my show, you know, and I say, you know, we don't care that we weren't included. Because have you ever seen an Italian on Gilligan's Island? No. Because if there was an Italian on Gilligan's Island, there'd be no Gilligan's Island, because the first thing my dad would have fixed a hole in the boat. You know, let's get on with it. So that's the attitude that we have. Just get on with it. We don't care that people are treating us the way let's get on with it. You know, so that's what we do, because we have an inbuilt. I've got an audience of 30 years that I've gathered. But if you're young and you're starting out, it's hard.
Joe, I can't say how much I appreciate all the time you spent with us, the honesty. I mean, you're a brilliant comedian. That's why I was really eager to have you on. I want to remind the guests again, please make sure you follow Joe Avati, support all of his events. If you're nearby one of his places, go. Joe, where can they find you?
Now I've got 2 Instagram pages. So I've got Joe Avati Italian, which is the main, Joe Avati just on its own, which is the main one. But I've got another page which is called Joe Avati Italian. And on that, I put my old Italian Calabrese or more Italian stuff on there, because I can't put it on the main page because, there's Greeks and Maltese or Lebanese, non-Italians that watch that page, and they'll get upset, right? So I started a new page called Joe Avati Italian on Instagram. It's Joe Avati Comedian on Facebook, or they go to the website. Now, we should plug that I am coming to the area, right? I think it's in November. I will be in the area. What's the place called? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Forward to it. Is it Soul Joe's, I think?
Oh, yes, Soul Joe's. Yeah, that's right. So I'm at Soul Joe's. So they've booked the show. That's really exciting.
Yeah,
very excited.
And we'll stay in touch. I mean, November will be here before we know it. But I don't want to. But we want to enjoy our summer. Let's make that clear. But when you come here, we'll welcome you with a nice cheesesteak and a nice espresso, a nice cannoli. We'll see our friends over at the Rim Cafe. You'll be welcomed with open arms. I'm
looking forward to it. I've only ever been once to Philadelphia overnight, where I was trying to get an act to come to Toronto, but so I didn't get a chance to experience the whole thing. So I'm looking forward to spending a couple of days there this year.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it, definitely. All right, so again, folks, make sure we're supporting Joe. He's a wonderful person, as you know. If you could please. I beg you to make sure you continue to, promote our Italian comedians, especially. It's always, it's near and dear to our own hearts. If you haven't already, please subscribe to me. I'm on YouTube as Vinny Presents. I do weekly shows. Joe, you're wonderful. I appreciate it. Tante grazie.
Grazie tanto. Saluto a tutti quanti, and ci vediamo a Philadelphia.
All right, looking forward to it. Guys, thank you very much, and we'll catch up soon. Have a great night, everybody.